The basement smelled like blood and concrete. Mira's hands were tied behind the metal chair. 3 men with guns surrounded her. The biggest one, wearing an expensive black suit, stood in front with his arms crossed. "Where is the money?" he shouted in her face. Mira looked up at him slowly. Her dark eyes were calm. Too calm. She smiled. "You made a terrible mistake," she whispered. The man laughed. "You think you can threaten me? Do you know who I am? I am Tae-Jin, leader of the Black Dragon gang. I control half of Seoul." Mira's smile got bigger. "I know exactly who you are, Tae-Jin. That's why I'm trying to warn you." Tae-Jin raised his hand to hit her. And that's when the lights went out. In the darkness, there was a sound. Snap. Crack. Thud. When the lights came back on 3 seconds later, all 3 guards were on the floor. Not moving. Not breathing. Mira was standing. The ropes that tied her hands were lying on the ground in pieces. Tae-Jin stumbled backward, his face white with fear. What are you?" Mira cracked her knuckles and walked toward him slowly. "I told you. You kidnapped the wrong woman." Before we continue this crazy story, hit that subscribe button right now. Where are you watching from? Drop your country in the comments below. Let's see how global our family is. 2 days before everything went wrong, Mira Johnson was living a quiet life. She worked at a small flower shop in the busy streets of Seoul. Every morning, she woke up at 6 o'clock, made coffee, and walked 15 minutes to the shop. She arranged roses. She watered tulips. She smiled at customers. It was boring. It was simple. It was exactly what she wanted. Because 5 years ago, Mira had a different life. A life she tried very hard to forget. Back then, she didn't sell flowers. She eliminated targets. She was one of the best assassins in the world, trained by a secret organization called the Black Lotus. For 10 years, she did jobs all over the world. Russia, Japan, America, Germany. She never missed. She never failed. She was a ghost. But ghosts get tired too. One day, Mira decided she was done. She walked away from the Black Lotus. She disappeared. She changed her name. She moved to South Korea and became nobody. Just a woman who sold flowers and lived alone in a tiny apartment. For 5 years, nobody found her. For 5 years, she was free. Until Tuesday afternoon. Mira was closing the flower shop at 7 p.m. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and pink. She locked the front door and started walking home, carrying a small bag of leftover flowers. The street was crowded. People rushed past her, heading to restaurants and subway stations. Seoul was always busy at this time. That's when Mira felt it. Someone was following her. She didn't turn around. She kept walking normally, but her senses sharpened. There were 3 of them. Maybe 4. They stayed about 20 feet behind her. Mira's old training kicked in automatically. She analyzed the situation. Who are they? Why are they following me? Did the Black Lotus find me? She turned down a quieter street. The footsteps behind her got faster. Okay. They're definitely following me. Mira's hand moved toward her bag. Inside, hidden under the flowers, was a small knife. Old habits die hard. But before she could grab it, a black van screeched to a stop right beside her. The door slid open. 4 men jumped out. "Get her," one of them yelled in Korean. They were fast. But Mira was faster. She ducked under the first man's grab and kicked him in the knee. Crack. He went down screaming. The second man swung a metal pipe at her head. Mira caught it mid-swing with one hand, twisted it, and yanked it away from him. She hit him in the stomach with it. He collapsed, gasping for air. 2 down. 2 to go. But then something sharp pressed against her neck from behind. "Don't move," a voice whispered. "Or I'll inject you right now." Mira froze. She felt the needle against her skin. A syringe. Poison. Tranquilizer. The 3rd man grabbed her arms. The 4th man grabbed her legs. "Sleep well, pretty lady," the voice behind her said. She felt the needle pierce her skin. Cold liquid entered her bloodstream. Mira tried to fight, but her body stopped listening to her. Her vision blurred. Her legs went weak. No, not like this. Everything went black. When Mira woke up, everything was wrong. She was lying on a cold concrete floor. Her head pounded. Her mouth tasted like metal. Her hands were tied behind her back with thick rope. She opened her eyes slowly. She was in a basement. Old. Dark. Water dripped somewhere in the corner. The only light came from one yellow bulb hanging from the ceiling. Across from her, 3 men stood guard. They had guns on their belts. They looked bored. Okay. Think, Mira. Who are these people? What do they want? The door at the top of the basement stairs opened. Someone was coming down. Footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Confidence. A man appeared in the light. He was tall, maybe 30 years old, with slicked back black hair and an expensive suit. His face was handsome but cold. His eyes looked like ice. He stared at Mira for a long moment. So, he said in Korean, "You thought you could steal from me and get away with it?" Mira blinked. What? The man smiled, but it wasn't friendly. It was the smile of a shark. Don't play dumb. We've been watching you for weeks. We know you took the money from our warehouse. $3 million. Mira's confusion grew. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know you. I don't know anything about any money. The man crouched down in front of her. His face was inches from hers. My name is Tae-Jin. I am the leader of the Black Dragon Gang. We control everything in this part of Seoul. Drugs. Weapons. Money. And you stole from me. I didn't steal anything. Mira said firmly. I work at a flower shop. I don't even know who you are. Tae-Jin stood up and laughed. A flower shop? Is that your cover story? He turned to his men. She thinks we're stupid. One of the guards laughed. Tae-Jin's smile disappeared. His face turned serious. Dangerous. Listen carefully. I'm going to ask you one more time. Where is my money? I don't have your money. Mira said each word slowly. Tae-Jin stared at her. Then he nodded to one of his guards. The guard walked over and hit Mira across the face. Hard. Pain exploded in her jaw. Blood filled her mouth. Where is my money? Tae-Jin asked again. Mira spit blood onto the floor. She looked up at him. You're making a mistake. The only person making a mistake here is you, Tae-Jin said coldly. You're going to tell me where my money is. Or you're going to die very slowly. He turned and started walking toward the stairs. I'll give you 1 hour to think about it. If you don't talk, well, Minute-ho here is very good with knives. The biggest guard, Minute-ho, smiled and pulled out a long knife. He tested the blade with his thumb. Tae-Jin climbed the stairs and left. Mira sat in silence, breathing carefully. Her face hurt. Her wrists hurt from the ropes. But her mind was working. They think I'm someone else. They kidnapped the wrong person. It would almost be funny if it wasn't so dangerous. She looked around the basement, analyzing everything. 3 guards. 1 door at the top of the stairs. No windows. The ropes on her wrists were thick but tied sloppily. Amateur work. These guys aren't professionals. They're gang members. Street thugs. Dangerous, but not trained. Mira tested the ropes. She pulled her wrists apart slightly. They were tight, but not impossible. I could break free. I could take all 3 of these guards down in under a minute. But then what? If she revealed her skills, if she showed them what she could really do, her cover would be blown. Everyone in Seoul's criminal underground would know that the legendary assassin the Phantom was here. The Black Lotus would find her. Her old enemies would find her. Her peaceful life selling flowers would be over forever. Maybe I should just talk to them. Explain the situation. This is all a misunderstanding. But looking at the cold eyes of the guards, she knew they wouldn't believe her. Tae-Jin wouldn't believe her. These men had already decided she was guilty. They would torture her. Kill her. And then they would eventually realize their mistake after she was already dead. Mira closed her eyes. I have two choices. Die quietly and keep my secret, or survive and lose everything I've built. For 5 years, she had run from her past. For 5 years, she had tried to be normal. But now, tied to a chair in a basement, about to be tortured by a gang leader who kidnapped the wrong woman, Mira made her choice. I'm not dying in a basement. She opened her eyes. They were different now. Colder. Sharper. The eyes of a predator. The guards didn't notice. They were playing cards in the corner, laughing about something. Mira began to work on the ropes. Slowly. Carefully. Her fingers found the knot. She remembered her training. Patience. Precision. Just a little more. Exactly 1 hour later, the door opened again. Tae-Jin came back down the stairs. This time, he wasn't alone. He brought 5 more men with him, all carrying guns. Time's up, Tae-Jin said. Last chance. Where is my money? Mira looked at him. Her face was bruised, but her eyes were calm. I'm going to tell you one more time. You kidnapped the wrong woman. Tae-Jin sighed. I was hoping you would be smart. But I guess we have to do this the hard way. He nodded to Minute-Ho. Make her talk. Break one finger at a time if you have to. Minute-Ho grinned and walked toward Mira with his knife. Wait, Mira said softly. Everyone stopped. Before you do something you'll regret, Mira continued, I want to ask you one question. Tae-Jin raised an eyebrow. What? Mira smiled. That same calm smile from earlier. The one that didn't match the situation at all. Have you ever heard of the Black Lotus? The room went completely silent. Tae-Jin's face changed. The color drained from his cheeks. One of his men whispered, Boss, she can't mean. 5 years ago, Mira said quietly, they sent their best assassin to Tokyo. The target was a politician protected by 60 bodyguards in a building with the best security in Japan. She got in, eliminated the target, and got out without anyone seeing her face. They called her the Phantom. Tae-Jin took a step back. That's just a legend, he said, but his voice was shaking. The Phantom disappeared 5 years ago. Nobody knows what happened to her. Mira's smile got bigger. I got tired, she said simply. So I retired. I moved here. I started selling flowers. I just wanted to be normal. Her smile disappeared. Her voice turned ice cold. And then you kidnapped me by mistake. You're lying, Tae-Jin said, but he didn't sound sure anymore. Am I? Mira asked. And then she stood up. The ropes that had been tying her hands fell to the ground in pieces. She had cut through them 5 minutes ago. The guards all raised their guns. Mira raised her hands slowly. You have 2 choices now, Tae-Jin. You can let me walk out of here, and we both forget this ever happened. I go back to my flowers. You go back to your gang. Nobody has to die. Or? Tae-Jin asked. Mira's eyes turned dark. When she spoke, her voice was the voice of death itself. Or I show you why they called me the Phantom. For a long moment, nobody moved. Then Tae-Jin made his choice. Shoot her, he screamed. 8 guns pointed at Mira. And that's when she moved. The first bullet flew past Mira's head exactly where she had been standing half a second ago. She moved like water, like smoke, like something that wasn't quite human. Her body dropped low as 3 more bullets whistled over her. She rolled forward, impossibly fast, closing the distance between her and the nearest guard in less than a second. The guard's eyes went wide. He tried to adjust his aim, but Mira was already too close. She grabbed his wrist and twisted. Snap! The gun fell from his broken hand. Before he could scream, Mira's elbow struck his throat. He collapsed, gasping for air that wouldn't come. 1 down. 7 to go. Spread out. Tae-Jin yelled, backing toward the stairs. Don't let her. But Mira was already moving again. She picked up the fallen guard's gun mid-roll and fired twice without looking. 2 guards on her left dropped, each with a bullet in their shoulder. Not dead, she didn't want to kill them if she didn't have to, but definitely out of the fight. 3 down. 5 to go. Minute-Ho, the big guard with the knife, charged at her with a roar. He was huge, at least 6'4", with muscles like a bull. Myra waited until he was 3 feet away. Then she slid between his legs, spun, and kicked the back of his knee with all her strength. Minute Ho crashed face-first into the concrete floor. The impact was so hard, the whole basement shook. 4 down. 4 to go. 2 more guards rushed her from opposite sides, trying to trap her between them. Amateur mistake. Myra jumped straight up, grabbed the water pipe running along the ceiling, and swung her legs out. Both her feet connected with both guards' faces at the exact same moment. They flew backward and slammed into the concrete walls. They didn't get up. 6 down. 2 to go. The last 2 guards looked at each other, then at Myra, then at their 6 unconscious friends on the floor. The whole fight had taken 12 seconds. I didn't sign up for this, one of them whispered. He dropped his gun and ran up the stairs, pushing past Tae-Jin. The other guard followed him. Now it was just Myra and Tae-Jin in the basement. Tae-Jin stood at the bottom of the stairs, his hand on the railing. His face was white. Sweat dripped down his forehead. "You," he whispered. "You really are the Phantom." Myra walked toward him slowly. Her movements were calm now, controlled. Like a cat who had already caught the mouse and was deciding what to do with it. "I tried to warn you," she said quietly. "I told you that you made a mistake." Tae-Jin pulled out a gun from inside his jacket. His hand was shaking so badly, the barrel wobbled. "Stay back," he shouted. "I'll shoot. I swear I'll shoot." Myra stopped. She tilted her head, studying him like a puzzle. "You're not a killer, Tae-Jin," she said. "Not really. You're a businessman. You manage the gang, you move money around, you make deals. But you don't get your hands dirty. That's what Minute Ho and these other guys are for." Tae-Jin's jaw tightened. "You don't know anything about me." "I know everything about you," Myra said. "In the 15 minutes I've been down here, I learned everything I need to know. Your suit is expensive, custom made in Italy, probably $10,000. But your shoes are scuffed and old. You care about appearances, but you're practical. You're smart with money." She took another step closer. "Your men respect you, but they don't fear you. When you gave orders, they followed them, but not instantly. They hesitated. That means you haven't been a leader for very long. Maybe 2 years. 3. Tae-Jin's gun hand dropped slightly. "Your Korean accent has a bosom tone," Myra continued. "But you're trying to hide it, trying to sound more Seoul. That means you came from the south, probably from poverty, and worked your way up. You're not born into this life. You chose it." "Stop," Tae-Jin whispered. "And most importantly," Myra said, now just 5 feet away from him, "you're pointing that gun at me, but your finger isn't on the trigger. It's on the guard. You don't want to shoot me. You're not that kind of person." Slowly, carefully, Myra reached out and gently pushed the gun down. Tae-Jin didn't resist. The gun lowered. His whole body seemed to sag. "Why did you kidnap me?" Myra asked. "Tell me the truth." Tae-Jin was quiet for a long moment. Then he let out a long, shaky breath. 3 weeks ago, he said quietly, "someone robbed our warehouse. They took $3 million in cash. Money that belonged to the Golden Tiger Triad, our partners from China." Myra's eyes narrowed. The Golden Tiger Triad was serious business. One of the biggest criminal organizations in Asia. "If we don't get that money back," Tae-Jin continued, "the Triad will think we stole it. They'll kill everyone in my gang. My men. Their families. Everyone." "And you thought I took it?" Myra asked. Tae-Jin nodded miserably. "We got a tip. Someone told us they saw a black woman leaving the warehouse the night of the robbery. In Seoul, there aren't many. We found you. We watched you for a week. And when we saw you walking alone, he trailed off." Myra's mind raced. "Someone set you up. Someone wanted you to kidnap me specifically. But why?" Tae-Jin asked. "If you're really the Phantom, why would anyone?" His eyes went wide. Unless someone wants you to destroy my gang." Myra felt a cold feeling in her stomach. "Someone knows I'm here. Someone knows who I really am. Who gave you the tip? She asked urgently. Who told you about the black woman? I don't know, Tae-Jin said. It was anonymous. A phone call to one of my men. Male or female voice? Male. Deep. Korean accent. Mira cursed under her breath. This was bad. Very bad. For 5 years, she had stayed hidden. For 5 years, nobody had found her. And now, suddenly, someone had manipulated an entire gang into kidnapping her. This wasn't random. This was planned. Listen to me very carefully, Mira said. I didn't steal your money. But someone wants you to think I did. Someone is playing both of us. Tae-Jin stared at her. What do we do? Before Mira could answer, she heard it. Footsteps. Lots of them. Coming from upstairs. Heavy boots on concrete. And voices. Speaking Mandarin. Mira's blood went cold. Are you expecting company? She asked. Tae-Jin's face went pale. The Triad. They said they were sending representatives tomorrow to check on the money situation. But that's not until. The basement door exploded open. 10 men in black suits came down the stairs. They all had guns. Big guns. Military-grade automatic rifles. At the front of the group was a man in a red suit. He was older, maybe 60, with grey hair and a thin mustache. His eyes were like a snake's. Tae-Jin, the man called out cheerfully in Korean, but with a thick Chinese accent. I hope we're not interrupting anything. Tae-Jin quickly tried to compose himself. He straightened his jacket and forced a smile. Mr. Chen, this is unexpected. We weren't expecting you until tomorrow. Mr. Chen walked down the stairs slowly, his men following behind him. His eyes scanned the basement, taking in the 6 unconscious guards on the floor, the broken ropes, and then landing on Mira. His smile grew wider. I see you've been busy, Mr. Chen said. Is this the thief who stole our money? Yes, Tae-Jin said quickly. We caught her. We were just about to make her talk. Mr. Chen walked closer to Mira. He studied her face carefully. Too carefully. Interesting, he murmured. Then he said something that made Mira's heart stop. You know, Mr. Chen said casually, she looks very familiar. In fact, she looks exactly like someone I saw in a photograph once. A long time ago. A photograph that was shown to me by a very important person. He turned to Tae-Jin. Tell me, did she put up a fight when you captured her? Tae-Jin hesitated. Well, yes. She took down 2 of my men before we tranquilized her. And just now, Mr. Chen gestured to the unconscious guards. Did she do this? Tae-Jin didn't answer. Mr. Chen smiled. It was not a nice smile. Tae-Jin, you fool, he said softly. You didn't capture a thief. You captured something much more valuable. He pulled out his phone and showed Tae-Jin a picture. Mira couldn't see what it was, but she saw Tae-Jin's face go completely white. That's impossible, Tae-Jin whispered. The phantom is just a legend. She's not real. She can't be. Oh, she's very real, Mr. Chen said. He turned back to Mira. Isn't that right? Mira Johnson? Or should I call you by your Black Lotus code name? Ghost 7? Mira's mind was racing at 1,000,000 miles per hour. How does he know my real name? How does he know my code name? The Black Lotus never shares operative information with outside organizations. Never. I don't know what you're talking about, Mira said calmly, but inside, alarm bells were screaming. Mr. Chen laughed. Please. Don't insult my intelligence. I've been looking for you for 3 years. 3 years. That was 2 years after she had left the Black Lotus. Why? Mira asked. Because, Mr. Chen said, 3 years ago, you killed someone very important to me. My son. Mira's memory flashed back. 3 years ago, she was active. She had eliminated dozens of targets that year. But a son of a triad leader? Then she remembered. Shanghai. A nightclub. The target was a young man, early 20s, who was selling weapons to terrorists. She had made it look like a drug overdose. Clean. Professional. She never knew his father was. I see you remember now, Mr. Chen said coldly. My son, Chen Wei. You killed him in Shanghai. He was selling weapons to people who were going to use them to kill children, Mira said flatly. He wasn't innocent. He was my son. Mr. Chen roared. His calm mask cracked for just a second, showing the rage underneath. Then he took a breath and composed himself. For 3 years, I searched for you, he said quietly. The Black Lotus wouldn't tell me who did it. They protect their assassins well. But I have resources. I have patience. And eventually, I found a leak. Someone inside the Black Lotus who was willing to sell information. Mira felt sick. There was a traitor in the organization. They told me you had retired, Mr. Chen continued. They told me you were in Seoul, living as a civilian. So I made a plan. Realization hit Mira like a truck. You stole your own money, she said. You robbed Tae-Jin's warehouse yourself. Then you made the anonymous call, telling him a black woman did it. Mr. Chen clapped slowly. Very good. Yes. I knew Tae-Jin's gang would find you. There aren't many African women in Seoul. I knew they would kidnap you. And I knew that when they did, you would have 2 choices. Die quietly, or reveal your true skills. He gestured to the unconscious guards. Thank you for choosing option 2. Now I know for certain that you're the Phantom. And now I can finally get my revenge. Tae-Jin looked between them, confused and terrified. Mr. Chen, I didn't know. Shut up, Mr. Chen said without looking at him. You're a pawn. You were always a pawn. He snapped his fingers. 5 of his men pointed their rifles at Tae-Jin. Wait, Tae-Jin said. Please. I did what you wanted. I brought her here. Yes, you did, Mr. Chen said. And now you're a loose end. No. Bang. The gunshot echoed in the basement. Tae-Jin collapsed to the ground, a red stain spreading across his expensive suit. Mira's hands clenched into fists, but she didn't move. She was surrounded by 10 armed men. Even she couldn't fight those odds. Mr. Chen turned back to her. Now. You're going to come with us quietly, or I will kill every single person in that flower shop where you work. Starting with Mrs. Park, the old woman who owns it. Then the teenage girl who works part-time. Then every customer who walks through the door. Mira's jaw tightened. Mrs. Park had been kind to her. She had given her a job when Mira had nothing. She was innocent. So, Mr. Chen said, will you come quietly? Or do innocent people need to die because of you? Mira looked at Tae-Jin's body on the floor. Blood pooled around him. She looked at Mr. Chen's cold, merciless eyes. She looked at the 10 rifles pointed at her. And she made her decision. I'll come, she said quietly. Mr. Chen smiled. Wise choice. 2 of his men grabbed Mira's arms. They pulled them behind her back and put handcuffs on her, real ones this time, not rope. Metal. Strong. Take her to the van, Mr. Chen ordered. We have a long drive ahead of us. As they dragged her toward the stairs, Mira looked back one last time at Tae-Jin's body. I'm sorry, she thought. You were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Just like me. They threw Mira into the back of a black van. 2 guards sat on either side of her. Mr. Chen sat in the front passenger seat. The van started moving. Where are we going? Mira asked. Somewhere private, Mr. Chen said without turning around. Somewhere I can take my time with you. You see, killing you quickly would be too easy. Too merciful. I want you to suffer. I want you to feel every bit of pain my son felt. Mira stayed silent. She tested the handcuffs subtly. They were tight. Well made. She could probably pick them, if she had 10 minutes alone. But with 2 guards watching her every second, she had no chance. The van drove through Seoul streets. Out of the city. Onto the highway. They drove for an hour. Then 2 hours. The city lights disappeared behind them. Now there was only darkness and mountains. Finally, the van turned off the highway onto a dirt road. They drove deeper into the forest until they reached a large building, an old factory, abandoned and falling apart. The van stopped. We're here, Mr. Chen said. Welcome to the place where you'll spend your last days alive. They dragged Myra out of the van and into the factory. Inside, it was dark and empty. Machines that hadn't worked in years sat rusting. The floor was covered in dirt and broken glass. But in the center of the room, someone had set up a chair. Metal. Bolted to the floor. And next to it, a table covered with tools. Knives. Pliers. A blowtorch. Other things Myra recognized from her torture resistance training. This is going to be bad, she thought. They strapped her into the chair. Leather straps on her wrists, ankles, and chest. So tight she could barely breathe. Mr. Chen walked up to her slowly. He picked up a knife from the table and tested the edge with his thumb. "I'm going to enjoy this," he said softly. "Get on with it then," Myra said. She kept her voice steady, even though her heart was pounding. Mr. Chen smiled. "Oh no. Not yet. First, I want you to meet someone." He turned toward the darkness at the back of the factory. "You can come out now," he called. Footsteps echoed in the empty space. Someone was walking toward them from the shadows. Myra squinted, trying to see who it was. The person stepped into the light. And Myra's blood turned to ice. It was a woman. Asian. Early 30s. Beautiful, with long black hair and cold, dead eyes. Myra recognized her immediately. "Hello, Myra," the woman said in perfect English. "It's been a long time." "Suki," Myra whispered. Suki smiled. But there was no warmth in it. Only hatred. "Surprised to see me?" Suki asked. Myra's mind was reeling. Suki had been her partner in the Black Lotus. They had trained together. Fought together. For 5 years, they had been like sisters. Until the mission in Berlin. The mission that went wrong. The mission where Myra had to make an impossible choice. "I thought you were dead," Myra said. "You left me to die," Suki snarled. "In Berlin. When the mission went bad, when we were surrounded, you ran. You saved yourself and left me behind." "That's not what happened," Myra said. "You told me to go. You ordered me to complete the mission. I wanted you to come back for me," Suki screamed. "But you didn't. You left me in that prison for 2 years. 2 years of torture, 2 years of hell. And when I finally escaped, do you know what I found out?" She leaned closer, her face inches from Myra's. "You have retired," Suki whispered. "You had quit the Black Lotus. You were living peacefully, selling flowers, while I was rotting in a cell." "Suki, I looked for you," Myra said desperately. "I tried to find you. But the Black Lotus told me you were dead. They showed me a death certificate. They lied to you," Suki shouted. "And you believed them. You didn't question it. You just moved on." Myra felt tears burning in her eyes. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't know." "Sorry doesn't bring back 2 years of my life," Suki said coldly. She turned to Mr. Chen. "She's all yours. Make her suffer." Mr. Chen picked up the knife again. And that's when the lights in the factory went out. The factory plunged into complete darkness. For 3 seconds, there was only silence. Then chaos exploded. Bang! 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 Gunshots lit up the darkness like lightning. Myra heard screaming. Men shouting in Mandarin. Bodies hitting the floor. "What's happening?" Mr. Chen yelled. "Who's there?" More gunshots. More screams. Myra counted in her head. 10 guards when they arrived. She heard at least 6 bodies fall. Someone or something was taking out Mr. Chen's men in the dark. A hand grabbed Myra's face from behind. She tried to jerk away, but the straps held her tight. "Shish," a voice whispered in her ear. A man's voice. Familiar. "Don't move." Myra felt cold metal against the leather straps. A knife. The person was cutting her free. "Who?" Myra started to whisper. "Be quiet," the voice said. "We have 30 seconds before they find the backup generator." The straps on her wrists fell away. Then her ankles. Then her chest. "Can you run?" the voice asked. "Yes," Myra said. "Then run. East door. Now." The hand pushed her forward. Myra didn't hesitate. She ran blindly through the darkness, her hands stretched out in front of her, praying she wouldn't hit a wall. Behind her, she heard Mr. Chen screaming, "Find her! Don't let her escape!" More gunshots. Someone was still fighting back there, holding off the guards. "Who is helping me? And why?" Myra's hands hit a metal door. She pushed it open and stumbled outside into the night. The cold mountain air hit her face. She could see again, the moon was bright tonight, giving just enough light to see by. She was at the back of the factory. Forest surrounded her on all sides. She could run into the trees, disappear. "Myra, wait." She turned around. Suki was standing in the doorway, gun in hand, pointing it at her. "Don't move," Suki said. Her voice was shaking. "I came here to watch you suffer. I came here for revenge. You don't get to just run away." Myra raised her hands slowly. "Suki, please. We were friends once. We were sisters." "We were never sisters," Suki shouted. "Sisters don't abandon each other." Behind Suki, Myra could hear more chaos inside the factory. Whoever was helping her was still fighting. "You're right," Myra said quietly. "I failed you. I should have fought harder to find you. I should have questioned the Black Lotus when they said you were dead. I'm sorry, Suki. I'm so sorry." Suki's hand was shaking. The gun wobbled. "Sorry doesn't fix anything," she whispered. "Sorry, don't give me back what I lost." "I know," Myra said. "But killing me won't fix it either. It won't make the pain go away. It will just make you into something you're not. Something they made you into, that prison." Tears were running down Suki's face now. "I hate you. I hate you so much." "I know," Myra said softly. "And you have every right to." For a long moment, they just stood there. Two former friends. Two trained killers. One holding a gun. One with her hands raised. Then Suki lowered the gun. "Go," she whispered. "Just go. If I see you again, I won't hesitate. But tonight, just go." Myra nodded slowly. "Thank you." She turned and ran into the forest. Behind her, she heard Mr. Chen's voice roaring from inside the factory. "Where is she? Find her now." Myra ran faster. Myra crashed through the forest like a wild animal. Branches scratched her face. Roots tried to trip her. But she didn't stop. She couldn't stop. Behind her, she heard dogs barking. No. No, no, no. They had tracking dogs. That was very bad. Myra changed direction, running toward the sound of water. If she could find a stream, she could hide her scent. The barking got closer. Faster. Run faster. Her lungs burned. Her legs screamed. But Myra pushed through the pain. She had been through worse. Much worse. Finally, she heard it. Running water. She burst through the trees and found a small stream, maybe 10 feet wide. Without hesitating, she jumped in. The water was freezing. Mountain water, ice cold. It stole the breath from her lungs. But it would hide her scent. Myra waded downstream, moving as quickly as she could without splashing too loudly. She could still hear the dogs, but they sounded confused now. The water was working. She walked for 20 minutes, until her legs were numb from the cold. Then she climbed out on the opposite bank and ran deeper into the forest. After another hour of running, she finally stopped. She was deep in the mountains now. Miles from the factory. She leaned against a tree, gasping for air, her whole body shaking from cold and exhaustion. Okay. Think. What now? She was in the middle of nowhere. No phone. No weapons. No supplies. And Mr. Chen's men would be searching all night. She needed shelter. She needed to get warm before hypothermia set in. Myra looked around and spotted a rocky outcropping nearby, a small cave, barely big enough for one person. That'll work. She crawled inside and curled up, trying to preserve body heat. Her wet clothes made her colder, but she had nothing else. As she sat there shivering in the darkness, her mind raced through everything that had happened. Mr. Chen wanted revenge. Suki wanted revenge. Someone from the Black Lotus had betrayed her location. But who had turned off the lights in the factory? Who had cut her free? The voice had been male, Korean accent. And it had been familiar. She knew that voice. But from where? Myra closed her eyes, replaying the whisper in her mind. Don't move. The way he said it. The tone. The cadence. And then she remembered. Her eyes snapped open. No, she whispered to the darkness. It can't be. But the more she thought about it, the more certain she became. 8 years ago. Tokyo. She had been on a mission to eliminate a weapons dealer. But there had been complications. Another assassin had shown up, a man working for a rival organization. They had fought. She had won. But before she killed him, he had looked at her with these strange, sad eyes and said, I hope we meet again someday. Under better circumstances. She had let him live. It was against Black Lotus rules, but something about him had made her hesitate. His code name was Shadow 9. His real name was Jinwoo. And that voice in the factory, it had been him. Why would he save me? Why would he risk his life for someone he fought 8 years ago? Myra didn't have answers. But she knew one thing. When the sun came up, she needed to move. She needed to get back to Seoul. She needed to find Jinwoo and get answers. But more importantly, she needed to figure out who in the Black Lotus had betrayed her. Because if they knew where she was once, they could find her again. Her peaceful life was over. The phantom was awake. And someone was going to pay. Myra woke to sunlight on her face. She sat up quickly, instantly alert. Her body ached everywhere. Her clothes were still damp. Her face was covered in scratches from the branches. But she was alive. She crawled out of the cave and looked around. The forest looked different in daylight. Beautiful, even. Birds were singing. The stream bubbled peacefully nearby. It would almost be nice if she wasn't being hunted by the Chinese Triad. Myra found some edible berries and ate them quickly. Not much, but enough to quiet her stomach. Then she started walking. She followed the sun east, toward where Seoul should be. It would take days to walk back on foot, but she had no choice. After 2 hours of walking, she heard something. A road. Cars passing. Myra moved carefully toward the sound, staying hidden in the trees. Sure enough, there was a small highway cutting through the mountains. She watched for a while, studying the vehicles. Most were just normal cars. Families. Workers. But then she saw it. A truck. Old and rusty. Driven by an elderly man. It was moving slowly, heading east. Perfect. Myra waited until the road was clear. Then she ran out, waving her arms. The truck slowed down and stopped. The old man rolled down his window. He looked concerned. Are you okay, miss? What happened to you? Myra had prepared her story. My car broke down last night. I've been walking all morning. Please, can you give me a ride to the nearest town? The old man looked at her scratched face and dirty clothes. You look hurt. Do you need a hospital? No, no hospital, Myra said quickly. Hospitals kept records. Records could be traced. Just a ride, please. The old man hesitated, then nodded. Okay. Get in. Myra climbed into the passenger seat. The truck smelled like cigarettes and old coffee. But it was warm. Dry. Thank you so much, Myra said. Don't mention it, the old man said. He put the truck in gear and started driving. Where are you headed? Seoul, Myra said. The old man whistled. That's a long way. I'm only going as far as Chuncheon. But that'll get you closer. That's perfect, Myra said. From Chuncheon, she could take a bus to Seoul. They drove in comfortable silence for a while. The old man didn't ask too many questions, which Myra appreciated. After an hour, her eyes started to close. She was so tired. So exhausted. You should sleep, the old man said kindly. You look like you've been through hell. You have no idea, Myra murmured. She let her eyes close. Just for a moment. Just to rest. Wake up. Myra's eyes snapped open. The truck had stopped. But they weren't in a town. They were at a rest stop. Empty. Abandoned. And the old man wasn't alone anymore. 4 men stood outside the truck. Young. Muscular. Tattoos on their arms. The old man was looking at her with different eyes now. Not kind anymore. Cold. Calculating. "I'm sorry, miss," he said. "But there's a very large reward for information about a foreign woman traveling alone. $500,000 Myra's heart sank. "Mr. Chen," she whispered. The old man shrugged. "I don't know who Mr. Chen is. I just got a text message this morning. Black women, traveling alone, might be injured. Call this number if you see her. Easy money." He pulled out his phone. "They said someone would come pick you up. Should be here any." Myra moved. Her fist shot out and connected with the old man's face. He slumped against the steering wheel, unconscious. She threw open the truck door and jumped out. The 4 men were already moving toward her. "Grab her," one of them yelled. Myra was tired, hurt, hungry, but she was still the phantom. The first man reached for her. She grabbed his arm, twisted, and flipped him over her shoulder. He crashed into the ground with a grunt. The second man threw a punch. She ducked under it, swept his legs, and he went down hard. The third and fourth men attacked together, trying to overwhelm her. Big mistake. Myra dropped low, spun, and kicked the third man's knee. Crack. He screamed and collapsed. The fourth man pulled out a knife. "Bad choice," Myra said. She waited for him to lunge, then sidestepped and grabbed his wrist. She twisted the knife out of his hand, reversed it, and pressed it against his throat. "Don't move," she said quietly. The man froze. "Good," Myra said. "Now you're going to tell me something. Who sent that text message this morning?" I don't know. It was anonymous." "What number was it from?" "I don't remember. Please, don't kill me." Myra sighed. He was telling the truth. Just another pawn. She knocked him out with the handle of the knife. All 4 men were unconscious now. Myra looked at the old man's phone. The text message was still on the screen. Reward, 500,000 won for information about foreign black women traveling alone. May be injured. Call XXXXXXX if spotted. The message had been sent to hundreds of people. Maybe thousands. He's casting a wide net. He's using the whole country to search for me. This was bad. Very bad. Myra couldn't take the truck, it would be reported stolen. She couldn't hitchhike, everyone was looking for her. She needed help. She needed someone she could trust. And there was only one person in Seoul who fit that description. Mrs. Park. The old woman who owned the flower shop. "No. I can't. If I go to her, I'll put her in danger." But did she have a choice? Myra stood there for a long moment, thinking. Then she made her decision. She would go back to Seoul. She would find Mrs. Park. She would warn her. And then she would find Jinwoo. And after that, she would find whoever in the Black Lotus had betrayed her. And she would make them pay. It took Myra 2 days to get back to Seoul. She walked. She hid in the backs of delivery trucks. She snuck onto trains. She avoided cameras. She stayed in the shadows. By the time she reached the city, she looked like a ghost. Dirty. Exhausted. Hungry. But alive. It was late evening when she finally reached her neighborhood. The street where the flower shop was. She stayed hidden in an alley across the street, watching. The flower shop was closed. Dark. But there was a light on in the apartment above it, Mrs. Park's home. She's okay. Thank God. But Myra saw something else that made her blood run cold. A black car parked down the street. 2 men inside. Watching the shop. They're waiting for me to come back. Of course they were. It was an obvious move. Myra studied the building carefully. There was a back entrance. A fire escape. She could climb up, get inside, warn Mrs. Park, and get out without being seen. Probably. She waited until the street was empty. Then she moved. Fast and silent, like a shadow, she crossed the street and slipped into the alley behind the building. The fire escape was old and rusty, but it held her weight. She climbed to the 2nd floor and tested the window. Locked. Myra pulled out the knife she had taken from the rest stop. She slid it between the window and the frame, popped the lock, and slipped inside. The apartment was quiet. Warm. It smelled like tea and old books. "Mrs. Park?" Myra called softly. A light came on in the bedroom. Mrs. Park appeared in the doorway, wearing a nightgown. She was in her 70s, small and frail, with kind eyes. Those eyes went wide when she saw Myra. "Oh my goodness. Myra, what happened to you?" She rushed over, looking at Myra's scratched face and dirty clothes with horror. "I'm okay," Myra said quickly. "But I need you to listen very carefully. You're in danger. There are men watching your shop. They're looking for me. You need to leave. Tonight. Go stay with your daughter in Busan until this is over." "What? Why? What's going on?" "I can't explain," Myra said. "Please, Mrs. Park. Just trust me. Pack a bag and go. Now." Mrs. Park studied Myra's face. And Myra saw something in the old woman's eyes that surprised her. Recognition. "You're not really a flower shop girl, are you?" Mrs. Park said quietly. Myra froze. "When you first came to me 5 years ago," Mrs. Park continued, "asking for a job, I knew something was wrong. You were too careful. Too alert. The way you watched everyone who came into the shop. The way you always kept your back to the wall." She smiled sadly. "My husband was a soldier. I know what soldiers look like. What warriors look like. You have the same eyes he had." Myra didn't know what to say. "I didn't ask questions," Mrs. Park said. "You were kind. You worked hard. Whatever you were running from, I figured you deserved peace." She reached out and took Myra's hand. "But peace never lasts, does it?" "No," Myra whispered. "It doesn't." Mrs. Park squeezed her hand. "I'll pack a bag. But first, you need to eat. And shower. You look terrible." "Mrs. Park, there's no time. There's always time to take care of yourself," the old woman said firmly. 10 minutes. That's all. Then I'll go." Before Myra could argue, Mrs. Park was already in the kitchen, heating up soup. Myra wanted to argue, but her stomach growled loudly, betraying her. Mrs. Park heard it and smiled. "See? 10 minutes." Myra sat at Mrs. Park's small kitchen table, eating the hot soup. It was the best thing she had tasted in days. She had showered quickly, washing away the dirt and blood. Mrs. Park had given her clean clothes, simple jeans and a black sweater. "Better?" Mrs. Park asked, watching her eat. "Much better. Thank you." Mrs. Park was packing a small suitcase in her bedroom. "My daughter will be surprised to see me. I haven't visited in 6 months. Tell her it's an early visit," Myra said. "Don't mention me." "I won't," Mrs. Park promised. She came back into the kitchen, suitcase in hand. "But Myra, what will you do?" Myra looked down at her soup. "I'm going to end this. One way or another. Will I see you again?" Myra wanted to say yes. She wanted to promise that she'd come back, that everything would be fine, that they'd work in the flower shop together again. But she had learned a long time ago not to make promises she couldn't keep. "I hope so," Myra said quietly. Mrs. Park nodded. She understood. The old woman walked to the door, then stopped. She turned back to Myra. "My husband used to say something," Mrs. Park said. "He said that warriors carry heavy burdens. But the heaviest burden isn't the violence. It's loneliness. The inability to share your truth with anyone." She smiled sadly. "So I want you to know you're not alone. And you never were. I saw you. The real you. And I'm proud to have known you." Tears burned in Myra's eyes. Mrs. Park left through the front door, heading to the taxi she had called. Myra waited by the window, watching. She saw Mrs. Park get into the taxi and drive away. The 2 men in the black car didn't stop her. They were only looking for Myra. Good. She's safe. Now it was time to move. Myra checked the knife she had taken. Still sharp. It would do. She went to the window, opened it, and looked down at the alley below. But before she could climb out, she heard something. A sound. From the front door. Someone was picking the lock. Mira moved silently to the side of the door, knife ready. She controlled her breathing, calmed her heartbeat. The door opened slowly. A figure stepped inside. Male. Tall. Moving carefully in the darkness. Mira struck. She grabbed the figure from behind, pressed the knife to his throat, and kicked the door shut. "Don't move," she hissed. "Mira, wait," the figure said in Korean. "It's me." That voice. Mira froze. She turned the man around, and in the dim light from the window, she saw his face. Jinwoo. He looked different than she remembered. Older. Tired. A scar ran across his left cheek that hadn't been there 8 years ago. But those eyes were the same. Dark. Intense. And right now, they were looking at her with something she couldn't quite identify. Relief. Concern. "You," Mira whispered. "It was you at the factory. You saved me." "Yes," Jinwoo said. "Can you please remove the knife from my throat now?" Mira hesitated. "Give me one good reason why I should trust you. Because if I wanted you dead, you would already be dead," Jinwoo said calmly. "I've been following you since you left the factory. I could have called Mr. Chen a dozen times. But I didn't." He had a point. Mira lowered the knife. "Why did you save me?" "Because 8 years ago, you saved me," Jinwoo said. "In Tokyo. You could have killed me, but you didn't. You let me live. I've been paying attention to your career ever since. When I heard you retired, I was glad. I thought you had found peace." He looked around the small apartment. "And then last week, I heard rumors. The Black Lotus had a leak. Information was being sold. And your name was mentioned." Mira's jaw tightened. "Who's the leak?" "I don't know yet," Jinwoo said. "But I've been investigating. And I found out that Mr. Chen was planning something. So I followed him to the factory." "You risked your life for someone you fought once, 8 years ago?" Mira asked skeptically. Jinwoo smiled. It was a tired smile. "You think 8 years is a long time. But I've thought about that day in Tokyo every single day since. You looked at me, really looked at me, and you saw a person. Not a target. Not an enemy. A person." He stepped closer. "Nobody in my organization has ever done that. Nobody has ever shown me mercy. So yes, I risked my life. Because I owed you. And because..." He trailed off. "Because what?" Mira asked. Jinwoo looked at her with those intense eyes. "Because I think we're the same. We're both trying to escape something we can never really escape. We're both ghosts. And ghosts should help each other." Mira stared at him for a long moment. Then she made a decision. "Okay," she said. "I believe you. For now." Jinwoo let out a breath he had been holding. "Good," he said. "Because we have a big problem. Mr. Chen isn't working alone anymore." "What do you mean?" "After you escaped, he made a call," Jinwoo said. "To the Black Lotus. To the person who's been leaking information. They made a deal." Mira felt cold. "What kind of deal?" "Mr. Chen offered them $5 million, Jinwoo said. "In exchange, the Black Lotus will send a team to Seoul. An elite assassination squad. Their mission is to eliminate you. Permanently." "When?" Mira asked. "They're already here," Jinwoo said. "They arrived this morning. 3 operatives. The best the Black Lotus has." Mira's mind raced. "Who are they?" "I only know one name for certain," Jinwoo said. "The team leader. Codename, Viper 3. Mira's blood turned to ice. She knew that name. Everyone in the Black Lotus knew that name. Viper 3 was a legend. Male. Japanese. He had completed over 200 missions without a single failure. He was fast, smart, and absolutely ruthless. And if he was the team leader, that meant the other 2 operatives would be just as dangerous. "We need to leave," Mira said. "Now." "No," Jinwoo said. "If we run, they'll just keep hunting you. Forever. The only way to end this is to face them." "Face them?" Mira said. "That's suicide. I can't even fight 3 Black Lotus operatives at once." "Not alone," Jinwoo said. "But with help. Maybe." "What help?" Myra asked. Jinwoo pulled out his phone and made a call. It's me, he said in Korean. I need you. Now. Yes, I know it's dangerous. I know what I'm asking. Please. I'll owe you. Thank you. He hung up. Who was that? Myra asked. Someone who hates the Black Lotus as much as you do, Jinwoo said. She'll be here in 10 minutes. 9 minutes later, there was a knock on the door. Jinwoo opened it. A woman walked in. She was Korean, mid-20s, with short hair dyed bright blue. She wore all black and carried a large backpack. This better be good, Jinwoo, the woman said. I was in the middle of. She stopped when she saw Myra. Her eyes went wide. No way, she whispered. You're the Phantom. You're actually the Phantom. And you are? Myra asked. Ha-yoon, the woman said. She was practically vibrating with excitement. Oh my God. I've studied all your missions. Tokyo, Berlin, Moscow, Bangkok, you're a legend. Ha-yoon is a hacker, Jinwoo explained. The best in Seoul. She's helped me with several jobs. And you didn't tell Emmy you knew the Phantom? Ha-yoon said, punching Jinwoo's arm. It never came up, Jinwoo said dryly. Ha-yoon turned back to Myra. I can help. Whatever you need. Surveillance, security systems, communication jammers, false identities, I can do it all. We need to find 3 Black Lotus operatives, Myra said. Before they find us. Ooh, a challenge. Ha-yoon said. She pulled out a laptop from her backpack. Give me their code names. Viper 3 is the team leader, Jinwoo said. We don't know the other 2. That's okay, Ha-yoon said, her fingers flying across the keyboard. The Black Lotus uses a specific communication frequency for their operatives. If I can tap into it. She typed rapidly for 2 minutes. Got it, she said. 3 phones, all using encrypted Black Lotus protocols. Currently located at, oh, that's not good. What? Myra asked. They're at your flower shop, Ha-yoon said. Right now. They're setting up an ambush. They know you'll come back. Of course they did. It was the obvious move. Can you tell how many civilians are in the area? Myra asked. Ha-yoon checked. The shop is closed. The surrounding buildings are mostly empty this time of night. Maybe 5 people within 100 meters. We need to evacuate them, Myra said. I won't risk civilian casualties. I can trigger fire alarms in the nearby buildings, Ha-yoon said. That'll get most people out. Do it, Myra said. Ha-yoon typed rapidly. 30 seconds later, they heard sirens in the distance. Fire alarms activated, Ha-yoon said. People are evacuating now. Good, Myra said. She turned to Jinwoo. You don't have to come with me. This isn't your fight. Yes, it is, Jinwoo said. We're in this together now. Myra looked at him. Really looked at him. He was serious. He meant it. Okay, she said. But we do this my way. I wouldn't have it any other way, Jinwoo said. Ha-yoon raised her hand. I'm coming too. Absolutely not, Myra said. You're not trained for combat. You'll get killed. I don't need combat training, Ha-yoon said. I'll stay in the van and provide tech support. Communications. Cameras. I'll be your eyes and ears. Myra wanted to say no. But Ha-yoon was right, having someone monitoring the situation could be the difference between life and death. Fine, Myra said. But you stay in the van. No matter what happens. Promise me. I promise, Ha-yoon said. Good. Myra looked at Jinwoo. Do you have weapons? Jinwoo smiled and pulled a duffel bag from behind the couch. He opened it. Inside were 2 handguns, 4 knives, a small submachine gun, and what looked like smoke grenades. I came prepared, Jinwoo said. Myra picked up one of the handguns. She checked the chamber. Loaded. Good. Let's end this, she said. Ha-yoon's van was parked 3 blocks from the flower shop. It was unmarked, completely ordinary looking from the outside. But inside, it was filled with computers, screens, and equipment. Welcome to my mobile office, Ha-yoon said proudly. I can hack into any camera within a mile radius from here. She pulled up feeds on her screens. Okay, I've got eyes on the flower shop. I see, wait. Her face went pale. What? Mira asked. It's not 3 operatives, Ha-yoon said quietly. It's 4. 4? Jinwoo said. Yes. 3 inside the shop. 1 on the roof of the building across the street. Sniper. Mira cursed under her breath. Of course there was a sniper. Viper 3 was thorough. Can you identify them? Mira asked. Ha-yoon zoomed in on the cameras. The sniper is female. Asian. I'm running facial recognition now. Got her. Codename, Scarlet 8. Chinese. Specialty, long-range elimination. And the 3 inside? Mira asked. Ha-yoon switched cameras. 2 males, 1 female. I'm scanning. Okay. Male number 1 is Viper 3 himself. Male number 2 is Shadow 12. Korean. Specialty, hand-to-hand combat. And the female is? Ha-yoon's voice trailed off. What? Mira asked. It's Suki, Ha-yoon whispered. Mira's jaw clenched. Suki had joined them. She had decided that revenge was more important than mercy. I'm sorry, Jinwoo said quietly. Don't be, Mira said. Her voice was cold now. Hard. She made her choice. She studied the screens, analyzing the situation. 4 trained Black Lotus operatives. All positioned perfectly. Any ideas? Jinwoo pointed at the screen. The sniper is the biggest problem. As long as she's on that roof, we can't approach the shop without getting shot. We need to take her out first, Mira said. I can create a distraction, Ha-yoon offered. Trigger car alarms, cut the power to certain buildings. Maybe that'll... No, Mira said. Viper 3 will know it's a trick. We need something more subtle. She thought for a moment. Then she had an idea. Ha-yoon, can you make a phone call appear to come from a specific number? Yes, that's basic spoofing. Why? Call the sniper, Mira said. Make it look like the call is coming from Viper 3's phone. Tell her to reposition to the north side of the building. Tell her you spotted me approaching from that direction. Ha-yoon grinned. Oh, that's clever. Divide and conquer. Exactly, Mira said. Once she moves, Jinwoo and I will take her out quietly. Then we'll deal with the other 3. What if Viper 3 tries to contact her afterward? Jinwoo asked. We'll have to work fast, Mira said. Ha-yoon, how long can you jam their communications? Maybe 5 minutes before they realize something's wrong. That'll have to be enough, Mira said. She turned to Jinwoo. Ready? Always, he said. Ha-yoon made the call. On the screen, they watched the sniper, Scarlet 8, answer her phone. She listened. Then she nodded and started moving across the roof toward the north side. It worked, Ha-yoon whispered. She's moving. Start jamming their communications, Mira said. Now. Jamming active, Ha-yoon said. You have 5 minutes. Maybe less. Mira and Jinwoo left the van and moved through the shadows toward the building where Scarlet 8 was positioned. They moved silently. Years of training made them nearly invisible in the darkness. They reached the building, an old apartment complex, currently empty due to the fire alarm. Fire escape on the east side, Jinwoo whispered. They climbed quickly and quietly. Mira's heart was pounding, but her hands were steady. They reached the roof. Scarlet 8 was lying prone at the north edge, looking through her sniper scope, searching for a target that wasn't there. Mira and Jinwoo approached from behind. Silent. Deadly. When they were 10 feet away, Scarlet 8 suddenly tensed. She had sensed something. She started to turn. Jinwoo moved like lightning. He covered her mouth with one hand and pressed a pressure point on her neck with the other. Scarlet 8 struggled for 3 seconds. Then she went limp, unconscious. She'll wake up in an hour, Jinwoo whispered. Let's tie her up. They used zip ties to secure her hands and feet. Then they gagged her. Mira picked up the sniper rifle. It was a beautiful weapon. Custom made. Perfectly balanced. One down, she whispered. 3 to go. They climbed back down and started moving toward the flower shop. You're running out of time, Ha-Yoon's voice crackled in their earpieces. She had given them communication devices before they left the van. 2 minutes before they realized the jamming. Understood, Mira whispered. She and Jinwoo were crouched in the alley beside the flower shop. Through the window, they could see shadows moving inside. We can't just walk in, Jinwoo said. They'll be ready for us. No, Mira said. We won't walk in. We'll make them come out. She turned to Jinwoo. Remember those smoke grenades in your bag? Jinwoo smiled. I like where this is going. He pulled out 2 smoke grenades. On 3, Mira said. 1, 2, 3. They threw the grenades through the shop's front windows. Crash. Crash. The grenades exploded, filling the shop with thick smoke. Immediately, the front door burst open. Shadow 12 came out first, coughing. He was young, maybe 25, with short black hair and a knife in each hand. Jinwoo stepped out of the shadows and struck. His fist connected with Shadow 12's jaw. The young man stumbled backward. But he recovered quickly. He was good. He slashed with both knives. Jinwoo dodged the first blade, but the second one cut across his arm. Blood appeared. Jinwoo. Mira shouted. I've got this. Jinwoo yelled back. Get the others. Mira ran toward the smoke-filled shop. She burst through the door, the sniper rifle in her hands. Through the smoke, she saw 2 figures. Come out, Mira, a male voice called. Viper 3. He spoke in English with a Japanese accent. Let's end this like professionals. I'm done being professional. Mira shouted back. She fired. The bullet cut through the smoke, but Viper 3 had already moved. He was fast. Incredibly fast. A figure lunged at Mira from the side. Suki. Mira barely blocked the attack. Suki was using a combat knife, stabbing viciously, her face twisted with rage. You left me. Suki screamed. You left me to die. Their blades clashed. Metal on metal. They moved through the smoke like dancers, each trying to find an opening. I looked for you. Mira shouted. I tried to save you. Liar. Suki slashed at Mira's throat. Mira ducked and kicked Suki's legs out from under her. Suki hit the ground but rolled immediately and came back up. They were evenly matched. Both trained by the same organization. Both deadly. But Mira had something Suki didn't. She had let go of her anger. Suki was still consumed by hers. I'm sorry, Mira said quietly. I'm sorry for everything. But I'm not going to let you kill me because of something I didn't do. She moved in, faster than Suki expected, and disarmed her with a precise strike to her wrist. The knife flew away. Before Suki could react, Mira swept her legs again and pinned her to the ground. I'm sorry, Mira whispered. But this ends now. She struck a pressure point on Suki's neck. Suki's eyes rolled back and she went unconscious. 2 down. 1 to go. The smoke was starting to clear. And standing in the middle of the shop, calm and collected, was Viper 3. He was tall, Japanese, maybe 40 years old. He wore an expensive suit. His eyes were cold and empty. Impressive, he said. You truly are as skilled as the legends say. I don't want to fight you, Mira said. That's unfortunate, Viper 3 said. Because I very much want to fight you. I've been curious for years. Which of us is better? This isn't a competition, Mira said. Isn't it? Viper 3 smiled. We're both the best our organization ever created. Both ghosts. Both legends. One of us walks away from this. The other doesn't. That sounds like a competition to me. He pulled out 2 short swords from sheaths on his back. Let's find out, he said. He attacked. Viper 3 moved like nothing Mira had ever seen. He was fast. Faster than anyone she had ever fought. His swords flashed in the dim light. Mira dodged, blocked, countered, but he was always 1 step ahead. He cut her shoulder. Then her leg. Shallow cuts, but they hurt. Mira was losing. He's better than me. He's actually better than me. You're good, Viper 3 said calmly, not even breathing hard. But you've been retired for 5 years. You're soft. Slow. He slashed at her throat. Mira barely dodged. I, on the other hand, Viper 3 continued, have completed 50 missions in the past 5 years. I'm at my peak. He was right. Mira could feel it. She was tired. Injured. She had been running for days. She couldn't win this fight. But she didn't have to win. She just had to survive. Mira changed tactics. Instead of attacking, she focused entirely on defense. Dodging. Blocking. Staying alive. Running away. Viper 3 taunted. How disappointing. But Mira wasn't running. She was buying time. She backed toward the rear of the shop. Toward the storage room. Viper 3 followed, confident he had her cornered. Nowhere left to run, he said. I'm not running, Mira said. She kicked open the storage room door and dove inside. Viper 3 followed. And Mira slammed the door shut behind him and locked it from the inside. They were in a small room. No more than 10 feet by 10 feet. What's your plan? Viper 3 asked. We're both trapped now. Exactly, Mira said. She reached into her pocket and pulled out her last surprise. A lighter. And she clicked it on. Viper 3's eyes went wide when he realized what she had done. The storage room was filled with chemicals. Cleaning supplies. Fertilizer for the flowers. All highly flammable. You're insane, Viper 3 whispered. Maybe, Mira said. But I'm done running. I'm done being hunted. She looked at the flame. You have 5 seconds to surrender. Or we both burn. You're bluffing, Viper 3 said. Am I? Mira asked. She moved the lighter closer to a bottle of solvent. 4 seconds. Viper 3's hand tightened on his swords. 3 seconds. His eyes darted to the door. Could he break it down in time? 2 seconds. He calculated. Weigh his options. 1. Stop. Viper 3 shouted. He dropped his swords. I surrender. Mira smiled. Smart choice. She picked up one of his swords and pressed it against his throat. On your knees, she said. Viper 3 knelt. Who in the Black Lotus sold my information? Mira demanded. I don't know, Viper 3 said. The order came from high up. Director level. Give me a name, Mira said, pressing the sword harder. I can't. Viper 3 said. I don't know which director, but it's someone with access to retired operative files. Someone in the upper council. Mira's mind raced. The upper council only had 5 members. That narrowed it down significantly. Thank you, Mira said. She struck him in the head with the sword handle. He collapsed, unconscious. Mira unlocked the door and stepped out. Jinwoo was waiting in the shop. His arm was bandaged, but he was okay. Shadow 12? Mira asked. Unconscious, Jinwoo said. You. All clear, Mira said. Ha-Yoon's voice crackled in their earpieces. Guys, we have a problem. A big problem. What? Mira said. Mr. Chen just arrived. With 20 armed men. They're surrounding the building right now. Mira and Jinwoo looked at each other. Of course he did, Mira said tiredly. They walked to the front door of the shop and looked outside. Sure enough, Mr. Chen was standing in the middle of the street, surrounded by his men. All carrying guns. Mira, Mr. Chen shouted. Come out. It's over. You can't fight all of us. Mira stepped outside. Jinwoo followed. You just don't give up, do you? Mira called back. My son is dead because of you. Mr. Chen screamed. I will have my revenge. Even if it costs me everything. Your son made his choices. Mira shouted. He knew the risks. He was 22. Mr. Chen said. His voice cracked. He was just a boy. A stupid, foolish boy. But he was my boy. For the first time, Mira saw Mr. Chen not as a crime lord. Not as an enemy. But as a father. A father who had lost his son. I'm sorry, Mira said quietly. I truly am. Sorry, don't bring him back, Mr. Chen said. He raised his gun. All 20 of his men raised their guns. Mira and Jinwoo stood there, outnumbered and outgunned. This was it. This was how it ended. Mira took Jinwoo's hand. "Thank you," she said. "For everything." "It was an honor," Jinwoo said. They closed their eyes. "Fire!" Mr. Chen screamed. But before anyone could pull their triggers, blue and red lights exploded around them. Police cars. Dozens of them. Surrounding the entire area. "Drop your weapons," a voice boomed over a loudspeaker. "You are surrounded." Mr. Chen's men panicked. Some dropped their guns. Others looked around wildly. Mr. Chen himself stood frozen, his gun still raised. A figure stepped out of one of the police cars. It was a woman. Korean. Maybe 50 years old. She wore a police captain's uniform. But Mira recognized her. "Director Kim," Mira whispered. Director Kim was one of the 5 members of the Black Lotus Upper Council. She had trained Mira personally 15 years ago. What was she doing here? Director Kim walked calmly toward Mr. Chen. "Put down the gun, Mr. Chen. It's over." "How did you?" Mr. Chen started. "Your Triad operations have been under investigation for 6 months, Director Kim said. We've been waiting for the right moment to arrest you. Thank you for making it so easy." She gestured to the police officers. They moved in and started arresting Mr. Chen's men. Mr. Chen looked at Mira one last time. His eyes were filled with hate, and sadness, and exhaustion. "I hope your son finds peace," Mira said quietly. Mr. Chen didn't respond. The police handcuffed him and led him away. Director Kim walked over to Mira and Jinwoo. "Walk with me," she said. They followed her away from the police cars, into the quiet darkness of the street. "You called the police?" Mira asked. "I did," Director Kim said. "When I heard that someone in the Black Lotus was selling information about retired operatives, I started investigating. I've spent the past week trying to find out who the traitor was." "And did you?" Mira asked. Director Kim nodded. "Director Tanaka. He's been selling information to the highest bidder for 3 years. He sold your location to Mr. Chen for $5 million. Where is he now?" Mira asked, her voice cold. "In custody," Director Kim said. "The Black Lotus has its own justice system. He will be dealt with." "Good," Mira said. Director Kim stopped walking and turned to face Mira. "I'm sorry, Mira. You deserved peace. You earned it. And we failed to protect you. It's not your fault," Mira said. "Isn't it?" Director Kim said sadly. "I recruited you when you were just 17. I turned you into a weapon. I sent you to kill people. And then when you wanted to leave, I let you go without any protection." She reached into her pocket and pulled out an envelope. "This is for you," she said. Mira opened it. Inside was a passport, a new identity, bank account information. "What is this?" Mira asked. "A new life," Director Kim said. "New name. New history. Enough money to start over anywhere in the world. The Black Lotus owes you that much." Mira stared at the passport. The name on it was Sarah Mitchell. British citizen. "You don't have to stay in Seoul," Director Kim said. "You don't have to be Mira Johnson anymore. You can truly disappear this time." Mira looked at the flower shop. At the life she had built here. At Jinwoo, standing beside her. At Hayoon, watching from the van with hopeful eyes. "Or," Director Kim said softly, "you can stay. The choice is yours." 3 months later. The flower shop reopened. Mrs. Park had returned from Busan. The insurance had paid for the smoke damage repairs. And slowly, customers started coming back. But there were changes. Mira still worked there. But now, so did Hayoon. The young hacker had decided she was tired of working alone. She wanted to be part of something real. Something good. And on weekends, Jinwoo would stop by. "Sometimes I buy flowers. Sometimes just to talk." The Black Lotus had left Mira alone. Director Tanaka had been eliminated quietly and permanently. The other directors had sent a message, Myra's retirement was permanent. She would never be contacted again. Mr. Chen was in prison. His Triad connections had been dismantled. His empire had crumbled. Suki had disappeared. Myra had left her unconscious in the shop that night, and when the police arrived, she was gone. Myra didn't know where she went. Part of her hoped Suki had found peace. But probably not. As for Myra herself, she had kept the passport, the new identity, just in case. But she had decided to stay, to be Mira Johnson, to sell flowers, to live quietly, because she had learned something important. Peace wasn't about running away from your past. It was about accepting it, living with it, and choosing every single day to be something more than what you were trained to be. One afternoon, as Myra was arranging roses in the shop window, Mrs. Park walked up beside her. "You're smiling," the old woman said. "Am I?" Myra said, surprised. "Yes," Mrs. Park said. "It's nice to see." Myra looked at her reflection in the window. She was smiling. When did that happen? Jinwoo walked into the shop, carrying coffee. "Delivery for the best flower shop in Seoul," he announced. Ha-yoon looked up from her laptop. She was running security systems for the shop now, because old habits die hard. "You mean the ONLY flower shop you visit?" "That too," Jinwoo said with a grin. Mrs. Park took the coffee gratefully. "You're a good boy, Jinwoo." "I try," Jinwoo said. He looked at Myra. Their eyes met. And in that moment, Myra realized something. She had spent 15 years being a ghost. Being alone. Being nothing but a weapon. But now she has friends. A home. A life. She was still the phantom. That would never change. But she was also Mira Johnson. Flower shop girl. Friend. Human beings. And that was enough. "Thank you," Myra said quietly to Jinwoo. "For what?" he asked. "For saving me," she said. "Not just from Mr. Chen. From myself." Jinwoo smiled. "Anytime." The bell above the shop door rang as another customer walked in. Myra turned to help them, a genuine smile on her face. The Korean mafia boss had kidnapped the wrong woman. And in doing so, he had accidentally given her back her life. Thank you so much for following this incredible journey. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to this channel to support our growth. We're creating amazing content every single day, and your support helps us keep going. Drop a comment below telling us what you thought of Myra's story. And stay tuned, we have so many more incredible stories coming your way. Until next time, stay awesome.